Hey, Night Owls. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Horror Bin. I'm your host, Julian Fernandez, and welcome to the show where we give you our recommendations and reviews for everything to do with horror and movies. With me today, no stranger to the pod, is Kelly McInerney.
Hi.
And if Kelly's on, you know we're talking about one of the newer movies that's out in theaters right now. We're talking about one that's a bit more on the independent side. It is Late Night with the Devil, released in 2024 and released, I believe, primarily on Shudder, but still in theaters. So check it out.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer.
We are back in 5, 4.
Now, here's Mr. Midnight, Jack Delroy.
Oh, good evening, Night Owls, and thank you for allowing me into your living rooms once again.
On Halloween
Got a
night,
heck of a show in store for you
1977.
tonight.
Good year.
Very excited for you to see it all unfold before your very
One
eyes.
live
Really
television
hope you love
event.
it. Gosh, I hope you love it. Please love it.
Magic.
Shocked a nation.
I'm trying to host national syndicated.
You know what's funny? When I saw this trailer, I did start thinking, like, is this based on a real thing?
We all know how important it is
It's
to keep
not.
our sponsors and affiliates happy, but in
But I
my
like
humble
the
opinion, there
idea
is
that
only
it
one
could.
person
Yeah.
who really matters.
Like they set it up in a
whole
world
crazy
where,
business.
like, it's like, hey, he's competing with Johnny Carson for
And
the
that
late
is you.
night audience.
I liked it. I like
You're meddling
the
with things you don't understand.
concept of it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Guys, you know, here on
And the
Night
back
Owls,
and
we think
forth,
it's
the
very
fact that
important to keep
it's
an
all
open mind.
in real time of a live
Please
late
welcome
night
Dr. June Ross
taping.
Mitchell
But also, we
and
got to see
Lily,
the behind
young
the scenes. Like,
And
I
the
would
way-
have hated just the show.
The way the format
I really
changes
don't think it's
into
a
like
good idea,
more of
Jack. It's
rather
becoming
than
more
like the
unpredictable.
television graininess, it changes to like quality camera
Yeah.
look.
Yeah.
We attempt to commune with the devil.
Ooh, tell him I say hi.
Stephen King liked it.
Scariest part of the movie.
Good to see you again, Jack.
Lily, return to me.
This isn't about ratings anymore. No one's
Kevin
going
Smith
anywhere.
liked it too.
Jack? How could you let it happen?
Please be warned, anyone with young children in the room. What you're about to see.
You okay, Jack?
I mean, the twist was good too. It's just
Yeah.
a little, you
The landing was
know.
yeah.
Mr. Midnight. You knock it
So we saw a little bit of the ending there. So that is Late Night with the Devil, released in 2024. Let me go ahead and give you guys the rundown. Here we go. A live television broadcast in 1977 goes horribly wrong, unleashing evil into the nation's living rooms. Short and sweet. I love that description. I'm in.
Yeah.
This was directed by Cameron Carnes?
Carnies? I think they're a husband and wife or a married couple.
Desmulchin, that's how you say his last name. David Desmulchin is the lead actor in this. He's been seen in a ton of different things. You've seen him in the Ant-Man movies, as well as the Dark Knight movie. He's played he's more known as a character actor. He was Polka Dot Man in the Suicide Squad. But I like that he takes a leading role in this.
Yeah.
He comes across as he's a likable guy.
Yeah.
But he plays a late night TV host, a la Johnny Carson. In fact, at the beginning, they kind of give you a rundown of the history of the late night show that he's
It's like
that
a
he
weird
does.
documentary style in the beginning, which I thought was cool.
Yeah,
Like,
it was a good way to hey, this is who he is. This is what they've tried to do.
Yeah.
His wife had cancer. She was a big part of his life. She died. It was the highest rated, one of the highest rated episodes,
Yeah.
just behind Carson.
Yeah.
And the fact that
the
he
last episode she was on when she had her cancer. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
And so this whole TV taping takes place on Halloween night.
During Sweeps Week.
During Sweeps
To
Week.
try and get the viewers back.
Yes.
Or any viewers.
Yeah, because if they don't get the numbers they need, the show is going to pretty much be canceled.
Yeah.
So there's a lot at stake for him.
Mm-hmm.
But then
is that his name?
I believe so. It is Jack Delroy. Yeah. Jack Delroy.
Great late night name.
Yeah, great late night name. Cast is great. Everyone does really well. There's nobody. I will say the guy who plays the skeptic gets on my nerves.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he gets on my nerve the whole time. It's
Yeah.
like, why is he here? Why is he there?
Yeah. He was just constantly, it seems like he was just there to antagonize people.
It's like a late night format where he has a monologue up top. He has his band guy is his partner in
sidekick,
crime.
yeah.
And then he has 3 different guests.
Yes.
Right?
So he has a mentalist who at the beginning we see, obviously he's fake. He doesn't really have any powers. Or does he? Or does he? Because he does eventually, like at the end of his segment, have some kind of commune with a spirit of some kind,
And then
who we will later find out is possibly the devil, maybe Jack's wife. It's never really made clear.
I don't think it's Jack's wife. I think it's the thing that was at the tree, the father of the trees or whatever that he was that he was a part of.
Oh, I forgot about that. They do mention Father of the Trees or the Owl Society
Something
or
like
whatever it is.
And he signed a thing to
become like an elite.
To become like he wants fame.
Yeah.
And I think this is what happened is because he signed that. That's how his wife died. Like it's like you could have this, but you won't have your wife.
Right.
Essentially. So that's what happened.
It's a give and take. It's a devil's deal kind of situation.
Yeah.
Which I do like that. I don't like, because you even see in the trailer where suddenly the girl, they amongst their guests, they have a skeptic that comes on to
That's the
disprove
second
everybody.
guy, yeah.
And then they have a psychiatrist who's been working with a girl who's part of a cult.
Who escaped it? I mean,
she didn't escape the cult. The cult died.
Yeah, it was burned down.
But she was found mental issues, mentally ill, and this doctor's working with her and has found a way to communicate with the demon that's inside her.
Mm-hmm.
They do a demonstration. The demon comes out, and it seems like the demon's very. Even the girl herself, when she's not full on demon, seems to know who Jack is on a more on a more personal level.
It seems to like try and fool Jack that's his wife. Like that's what I feel like he was attempting to fool Jack.
Because everyone, at least crew wise, a lot of people are like, we want to be done. This is this is freaking us out. We're freaking us out. He loves it, one, because it's good TV, as one would say, but also, and he also has a producer who does not ever have a cigarette in his hand.
Yeah.
But
he always has it in his hand.
Well, he does not
have it.
Yeah. I just said it longer. But he's pushing like, hey, the phones are off the hook, basically. We got to keep it going. And the fact that there's possibly some connection to his wife to commune with her is also intriguing him.
Mm-hmm. I think he's kind of scared too, but he's like, we're doing this. Like, we're already
And it's freaky. I mean, like, if I started seeing some real supernatural shit, I'm done. I'm out. I'm like, oh, I don't need to know this shit. And
same.
I don't think they want to know me either. But yeah, like, but like for him, where where he feels like he's in a desperate situation to get viewers, to get people to watch and everything, I got down that level too.
There's a lot of good scares too. I mean, the skeptic, with the mentalist guy, he gets possessed and then starts puking black stuff, right?
Spewing, as the skeptic says.
Spewing it. And then
this is what they call spewing.
And then, hey, he dies.
Yeah. Find out later on that the mentalist dies in the hospital, and the skeptic also dies. Has a funny death because the entire time he's like, I will give you a $10,000 check if you can prove anything that you do is real.
Yeah.
Psychic wise, just a carpenter comes in. I did this. Oh, okay. Here's the check. But if you spiritually or supernatural, if you can prove it's real, he'll give you a check.
He does a crazy hypnotist thing to the TV and to the sidekick, which was the grossest scene in the whole, and also scary.
Scary, but also like, I don't know if you could really do that, like get like everybody on TV and in an audience to like see the same thing. But he even points out there are people that don't that don't see anything that's going on.
Right.
They see through the illusion.
Yeah. They picked out. They're like, yeah, I just didn't see it.
Yeah. So there are those moments.
But the worms thing, it was very goosebumpsy, which was kind of fun.
Goosebumpsies.
Yeah, and gross, and that's a good way of utilizing the low budgetness of it.
Yeah, this one. Let me see if I can find the budget. I will say Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 97%.
Oh, interesting.
Audience score 82%. I agree with that. I think it was a very good execution.
I like the premise of it. I think it's a very clever premise.
I like the premise. I like that it's basically all in real time of a live taping. I like the back and forth of it all. And the one thing I don't like is just when we get to the climax and you feel they set up that this girl is going to get repossessed and is going to pull the knife that's in between her and Jack.
Yeah, because it's right there.
And just start cutting people up. That's the entire time I'm like, she's going to pick up that knife and start stabbing people. If it's like an immediate thing, oh, it's going to be so crazy. But she ends up going all Super Saiyan all of a sudden.
And like gets
lights.
possessed with the electricity.
And her head splits in half and an EDM concert comes out of her head.
Yeah, it's very Dead Mouse.
Just let the beat drop.
Yeah. It's like that scene in Popstar where they let him have that light and then he falls and it blinds everybody. That happened, except they killed people.
And then we go into basically Jack's delusion, his vision or whatever, and finding out that this whole thing is apparently part of a deal that he had made as part of this weird high society cult thing in the woods, which I didn't look into it, but I think I remember hearing out about that before. Like it's possibly like
I don't think so. I haven't heard about it before.
Maybe it was advertising.
Maybe
because I like the advertising that they put out for the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in it. Like I liked. This is the difference with like horrors. Like, do you want a good story? This was a great story, but then the delivery at the end was like, oh, that wasn't that scary. You know, like it was more of like an for Jack at the end than a big scare. Because the tension was building up so well. I just wanted blood. Literally. Yeah. And then it, like, I don't understand. Is it hard to do that? You did a great, like, physical, like, with just prosthetics with the worms. I don't understand why they didn't choose that route.
That's the other thing. It seemed like a lot of practical effects, too, in this.
Yeah, then continue the practical effects at the end. I would have liked that, you know? It was just weird. I didn't like the lasers. I was that's what took me out of it.
That's where it got that's where it kind of got like a little out of hand there.
It's crazy how it could be a good film, but I think ultimately with horrors, it's like how does it leave you?
It's always gonna come down to your tone taste too.
Yeah, the climax.
Not every horror is for everybody. But this one definitely, like if you're someone who likes, I think this is like one of those horror movies that if you're someone who's into those underground kind of films, those not so mainstream ones, this is definitely a watch. It feels like,
and just like good story. It's
yeah. I'd say this is definitely, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I almost want to say this is maybe like tier 2 on the bin. Like it's a hidden treasure, but it's high up there.
Yeah.
Because it definitely is. Luckily it came out in theaters. It had some good marketing. It's available on Shudder, which I really like. If you're a horror fan, you got to get Shudder.
I could
see not an ad.
Yeah. I don't have it. I should get it. But I could see how people would like this more than Immaculate if you're a story baby versus like a jump scare baby.
Yeah.
You know, I like the jump scare. I like being scared. It's like I know it's a movie and it should follow a good story, but I think horrors have an exception of like you could have a shitty storyline, predictable as hell, but if you're scaring me, great job.
Yeah, true. So on the scary rating, 1 to 10, 1 being Hotel Transylvania, 10 being the scariest thing of all time, where are you putting Late Night with the Devil?
Man, I don't know because it like a 4.
Okay.
because the end really bummed me out.
I was gonna give it around a 5. The scariest part is one of the scariest part, because there's a lot of parts where like the feed kind of cuts out a little
Yeah.
bit, like, or like static comes on, which kind of gets you a little like jostled, like you might have seen something. The scariest part is when they talk with the demon.
Mhm.
But yeah, I would give it an even 5. I'd say it's like right around there. Movie wise, I'm gonna give it a 7, maybe even a 7.5.
Yeah, I'll give it like a 6.5 for the
Okay.
movies because I don't know. I think it's just the end bummed me out. It's probably more of a 7. You're probably right. Because I did like it's such a fun way to have a like the format of it, the live like a live videotape, like a late night thing.
Yeah.
Such a brilliant concept. So I think it's that. It's just the ending bummed me out. That's
Yeah.
why if it had like
If it had a better ending.
huge murderous ending,
Mhm.
but that's where low budge comes in.
Yeah. The ending definitely like it doesn't feel like a Shudder original movie until that
That.
girl starts turning into an EDM concert.
But yeah, and you're like,
Then it's like, oh right, independent movie.
yeah.
That's where it kind of felt.
Mhm.
Also, it was funny too. So many production intros before the movie even began.
Yeah.
We were talking about how there's a Family Guy a cutaway gag where they're at a theater and it's like it's so hard to tell when like whether the movie's either beginning or it's a production logo. And there were so many before this movie started. It wasn't until after the fact that I was sitting in my seat. I was like, I should have been like, one more.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize how many there were going to be. But it takes like when you start the movie, it takes a while to start the movie. In terms of the bin, I kind of already said maybe like a tier 2 hidden treasure.
Yeah.
Where are you putting it?
What's below the hidden treasure?
Below it's tier 3 hidden treasure. That one, it's like a one you got a real dig for.
I think it's in between 2 and 3 because
Yeah.
it just depends on your taste. This wasn't my favorite, but I could see how it could be other people's favorites because
Yeah.
it's a great story and like I liked the justifications of everything.
If
Like
you're-
they explained everything, which I liked.
Yeah. If you're someone who doesn't want to watch mainstream, you want to watch something that's a little more
Yeah.
independent, a little more risk taking, this is definitely the movie to watch. If you're having a movie night where it's a bunch of independent movies, a bunch of low budget horror movies, put this one at the top of the list.
You don't want to be scared, like super scared, but you want to enjoy a horror,
Yeah, it gives you a good amount of tension.
But there is some scare, like the worm scene was so gross
Yeah.
and scary. Like,
There's stuff you don't expect happening.
yeah, I feel bad for that guy.
The sidekick just wanted to go home.
He wanted to go home the whole time, and he was one of the first people to die immediately.
Yeah.
It
Neck
sucked.
snap too.
Yeah.
Damn. But speaking of going home, we gotta be closing it out right now. Right near.
Yeah.
We gotta close it out right near. We gotta close it out right here. Kelly, thank you so much for being on as
Yeah,
always.
thanks for having
Pretty soon, I'm not sure if this one's coming up before or after we do Abigail, but we'll for sure be doing that one very soon as well.
Can't wait.
But let the people know where they can find you, what you got going on.
Sure. Kelly McInerney. You can find me on Instagram at Kelly McInerney, kellymcinerney.net. Or like if you're in the LA area, come to Comedy Bingo. It's the 3rd or 4th Monday of every month. Depends on the month.
Yeah, great show. Check it out. Got a chance to do a little drop in not too long ago, which is a lot of fun. You guys can find me on all the things Julian F Comedy. You guys can follow this podcast at Horror Bin Pod. Leave us a review. Let us know what you thought of the movie. Let us know what movies you think we should talk about, what movies you think we should do, what topics we should talk about as well. And who knows, your suggestion might be our next episode. Leave us a like, leave us a review. Let's continue to build this late night fan base. And as we say on every episode, that's all, folks. I fucked it up. Bye.
I was like, what are you going to say?
Take us out, Johnny. That's what it should have been. Take us out, Johnny.